everyone, and welcome to episode 71 of My Mom Sandy. We're your hosts. I am Josh Fasten, and the woman next to me was officially awarded Mom of the Year yesterday. Well, this is going to come out Tuesday, so Monday. So on Sunday for Mother's Day, this is My Mom Sandy.
And thank you so much for the award. I appreciate all my supporters out there.
What do you think?
The two that I have.
That's a big one. Mom of the Year.
I know. God. And who gave it to me again?
Who awarded it? Everyone.
All the My Mom Sandy folks.
You won.
I won. It was a big contest. Yeah, good. I'm flattered, really. I don't know why I would be even be nominated for such an award, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Best damn mom ever. So me and Sam pulled some money together and we got you a 3-month car wash, unlimited car wash package. And you've gone once now, because last week we kind of talked about it a little bit, but so you've gone once. How was your experience? Red carpet car wash, Manhattan Beach. How was it?
Oh my God, I just totally freaked out. I didn't know what to do, you know?
No, I mean, but
it's like I've never been to a fucking car wash before.
Exactly.
It's like, how did it go? It went fine. I pulled up to where the people were vacuuming, and when they got to me, I went in and I paid for it, and then I watched my car turned around, and my car was already in there being soaped up. So the longest thing is the hand drying, which I do appreciate. And on top of that, the really nice part is that I went in the garage yesterday and my car didn't have any dust on it.
Dust free, baby. Dust free.
And you came over today and washed your car. I haven't looked at it today, but you said there was no dust on it either. So
I didn't see any dust.
I
even put on a pair of white gloves and I gave it the dust.
Test?
Yep. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is amazing because you know, and I know, we've talked about this before.
Is that a song?
I don't know about
you know, and I know, and we know, and you know.
And we've talked about this before. That we wash the car and like in an hour, it's like dusty. It's like, what the fuck? And you always tell me, oh, my garage is all dusty and dirty. Well, it's a fucking garage, but still, it's really annoying to, if you see me out there on my stepladder washing my car, it's really annoying to spend that much time doing it and then, and have it be dusty. And that's the thing, is it doesn't get dirty because I don't go out that much and drive. So it just gets dusty. So if this takes care of that problem, it'll be nice. The problem is I really can't support, a $60 a month car wash package. On my own.
Maybe we can get
up my unemployment.
Maybe we can get like a My Mom Sandy red carpet collab going, There
you go.
Or
we
maybe
can promote them.
I mean, look, if we have at least, this is a long shot. If we have at least 30 people, I was going to say 60 people. If we have at least 30 people that listen a month and they each donate $2, then your car wash is paid for.
Where should they send it?
If you guys want to donate to Sandy's Car Wash Fund, you just hit me up on mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com, and I'm going to tell you where you guys can send some money. We've taken care of her for a little bit, but if you guys want to help out, Sandy's getting a little bit older. She's up there. She's 50. She turned 50 this year,
and right.
That means that she had me when she was 11. So
it's tough getting up there on the stepladder to get to the roof of my car.
Not good. And every time the stepladder moves, I think she's fallen down.
There you go. Either that or you guys can just come over and wash it for me. But having said that, again, I'm going to tell you, if there's no dust on my car, because tomorrow I got to go out. So if there's no dust on my car tomorrow, I'm going to be fucking amazed. Just amazed, really. It's like, whoa, what do they have? Can I bottle it?
You should ask him.
Can I buy it and bring it home and use it on myself?
Oh, God.
Keep the dust off,
the
cobwebs.
How was your Mother's Day? Good?
Yeah, I didn't see either of my kids, so, but we don't usually do that anyway.
But you were hanging out with what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name came over. We had dinner, and then we did some research on the internet.
I had the thought. It was late last week already, but I was like, it'd be fun to go out to like brunch or something. But that's the problem is that everyone else is going out. We're in a pandemic still, and and then restaurants are like, we have 7 spots outside, so what are you supposed to do? So I was like, well.
Yeah, no. I'm not that person anyway.
Well, I feel like any sort of
If I'm
brunch
gonna,
money is better spent on a car wash pack.
yeah.
That's the
And
thing
if
is, I
I
mean,
and if I was gonna go out, I would go out any day but Mother's Day. If I
right.
was gonna buy flowers, I would buy flowers any day but
But
Mother's
I don't
Day
want
or
everyone. I don't
Valentine's
want
Day.
everyone listening to think, oh, what an insensitive thing. He got her this car wash package. But I'm like, no, that's you would much rather have that than actually like have like $100 or $150 brunch on Mother's Day.
I know. Why do I want to do that? Sit with all the other people in the world, wait and wait and wait, and spend money for overpriced cold food? Nah, not my thing.
Such a critic you are.
I know.
All right, so
Not my thing.
I stumbled upon a.
Oh, but before we do that,
okay.
I just want to say something that happened to me today. I had somebody come to my door, and it was actually the mailman, and he had a letter for me. And it's, what is it? Oh, it says restricted on it. And I had to sign for it. And I'm like, fuck, who the fuck? What? I thought, my first thought was the IRS, but not. But it's almost even worse. It was a letter from, you remember my car that got stolen?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's a subpoena for me to appear in court on the 17th of July or the 16th of July in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
until the judge tells me I can go home. And oh, by the way, call us at this number the day before so we can let you know if you need to appear in court. What? Seriously? Like now we're going to add insult to injury?
So then,
it's bad enough they took my car, but
right. But obviously, there's, I mean, double, triple
things.
There's a couple things, right? There's no way you can go to Arizona. You're not getting on a fucking airplane. You're not driving to Arizona. So you're not walking. So there's no way, like there's
the heat of summer. I know it says if I don't do what they say, then they'll issue a warrant for my arrest. If I don't appear
in the state of Arizona or like everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to call my victim's advocate tomorrow or some other time. I'm so fucking tired of the shit. Always the shit that's got to be taken care of. Like the TV went out. So I spent an hour with Costco on Monday. They were going to reach out to the people that had the insurance, that carried the insurance, which was Allstate. And then they would contact me within 24 hours. So I gave them all day Tuesday. Did they call me? Of course not. So then on Wednesday, I have to call Costco back. And then they have to put me through to the Allstate people. This was probably a good hour and a half. Then we had to go through the diagnostics on the TV again. It's like, fuck.
Right, but that,
seriously?
okay, but okay, see, like, the thing that I've always found funny about you is that, like, that's minor. Like, that's like minor inconveniences, right?
I know, but
here's
the other, but now I got to go to Arizona. I'm already trying to finish up the fucking taxes and get them to the post office so that they can be postmarked by next Monday. And to be honest, I don't want to go next Monday because it's going to be fucking crowded. Probably might be all week. I don't know. But it's like I'm trying to take steps in my life to get the things done that I need to get done. And it's just like I take, once like I got tomorrow, I'm seeing a doctor that I need to see. So it's like, I take one step forward and then I get slammed with all this other crap that has to be dealt with. And let's face it, you can't deal with anything, like I've said before, with one fucking phone call.
But but again, what I'm trying to explain is that going to the doctor and making a phone call to get a TV replaced, like, that's all minor things. And like maybe some of those things add up and it's like, okay, well, fuck, I got to do this and I got to go to the post office and I got to finish these taxes. But like, you don't even financially, you can't go to Arizona. Like what, like you're going to.
Oh, I know. I know. What am I know how to, seriously, like on my dime, again, that's like I said, it's adding insult to injury. I mean, I already lost my fucking car.
Right. So we're going to steal your car.
We're going to steal your car. And then we're going to make you come to Arizona on your dime so that we can prosecute the guy. Why don't you just do a deposition over the phone?
100%.
Or have somebody come to my house and do a deposition.
Or they should just they're doing Zooms. Do it on Zoom, Yeah,
what am I going to say? I'm going to say to them, yes, I owned a 93 Honda Accord wagon. Yes, it was parked in my driveway. Yes, it was locked. And voila, it was gone. So, I mean, that's all I can testify to.
And then you're going to say, well, they're going to say, how did you know? You say, my son came upstairs. Then they're going to say, well, let's get him in here. Then I'm going to have a restricted thing showed up. I think it's bullshit. I think that there's no way that that's it, especially now, right? Like if we weren't in a pandemic, I'd be like, well, maybe, but it's like, you're a 50-year-old woman, right?
Right.
You can't just pack your bag, get on an airplane during a pandemic, financially,
No, I would never fly. Number one, I can't really afford to fly. Number two, I don't really want to fly. I would drive, but having
so then
said that,
just drive out here and stay for as long as we tell you to.
I know, exactly. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, until the judge releases me, it's like, are you kidding me? On top of that, I can't tell you during the pandemic because I do have a victim's advocate with the case, and they send me emails all the time updating me on what his status is, where he is. I think he might be out on bail now, but he was held for a good 6 months in the jail there. I don't know, they set bail. I guess he didn't have the money for the bail, but now it's like seriously, they have canceled that. I mean, they send me a notice and they'll say, oh, he's scheduled to do this on this is such and such a date, and then they send me a notice that says, oh, we had to cancel. We've moved it towards it. And I know it's all about the pandemic. It's all about the COVID thing and scheduling and being in court and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's just like enough. It's like, so I'm going to invest the money, drive out there. I'm going to have to stay in a hotel. Who pays for that?
Right, exactly.
And what if they have bed bugs? And what if I bring bed bugs home?
But not even that. What if you can't get
what? For that?
Right, but it's not even that. But what if you can't get a hotel? You know what I'm saying? Like what if you call and you're like, you're like, oh well, I'll drive out and stay at the Motel 6 because it's affordable, and they're like, well, no, and the only hotels that you can get in are $200 or $300 a night. Like it makes no fucking sense.
I'm not going to stay in a Motel 6, so don't even think about it.
But I'm just saying, like as far as a financial burden, a financial hardship.
Oh, I know.
This makes no sense on so many different levels. I
know.
And I think that's I'm not saying that, my mom stays in Motel 6s. Of course not. She's my mom, Sandy. But, it's absolutely bananas to ask during a pandemic, you have to come out to Arizona, right? You have to be here by this day. You have to call this day to see if you need to be there, right? The day before.
Yeah, between 4 and 5 in the afternoon. It's like,
and then
seriously?
It's like, and then it goes, so then, okay, fine. So then, you spend, I don't know, couple $100 in gas to get out there and back, right?
No, by July it's probably gonna be $5 a gallon.
Let's just pretend that you're, I don't know, out there for 2-3 nights or whatever. I mean, it's just like what you just call the front desk and you just say, hey, just keep it going. I don't know what I'm checking out. Keep it going. Like it's just there's no way, the system is fucking so broken that they cannot,
there has to be a way that I mean, again, I can't testify to anything except that I owned a car and the car was stolen. I didn't give it to anybody. It was taken right out of my driveway. So I don't know why that can't be said in a deposition, especially for an elderly woman who lives out of state.
They're going to have you're going to have your car just in pieces in the courtroom. They're like, can you identify? Is this your fantastic cappuccino sticker on the back of the window?
No, that is my fantastic cappuccino sticker. Yeah. So yeah, that happened like this afternoon, and and I'm trying to get through Sam's state taxes, and so that happens, and then it's like fuck. Now, again, I just feel that's going on. We've got something going on with what's his name. It's just a lot of stuff.
Well, if it makes you feel any better.
I always thought that when you got older, life would get easier, but it fucking gets more difficult. I think, I don't know, maybe we just don't deal with it as, it just doesn't, I don't know, years and years of abuse by the system. It's difficult.
I mean, it's just, so
wait till you get to be my age.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have, so I've been living in my apartment here since, last September. And there was a nice gal that lived next door, very quiet. I think she had the vegan.
Yeah.
I think she had a boyfriend. Cause I would see a guy kind of coming and going. And I think she ended up moving out and getting a place together with him. So, fast forward to like mid to late February, there was a couple that moved in, a man and a woman, and they moved in, I think honestly, like literally right at the end of February. So March would have been like their first official month in. And I have to kind of talk quiet because the walls are very thin. But
yeah, you want to give them a name?
No, because I don't have anything nice to say about it. So okay. I tried to like introduce myself shortly thereafter, I saw them like, so they've converted. So the garages out back are like these garages that are like, everybody has their own garage door, but it's like all attached on the inside. So essentially, like you pull in and like you see everybody else's car, right?
Right.
So I don't think that they have a car. I think they have bicycles, which is fine. That's totally fine. But they've put all this. Like,
okay, if you live and work local, sure. How do you bring? You know, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird to think. When I think about like, excuse me, people in New York and like Samantha up in San Francisco when she lived in the city, she had her car, but she had to take public transportation everywhere. So like when you go to Target and you have like 3 bags of shit, how do you bring that on the bus?
yeah. So I don't.
If you're bringing home a big fucking pumpkin, how do you bring that home on your bike?
A lot of like now, I feel like a lot of people will just like, you know, there's all the fucking like, oh, here, order this on the app and you know you get it like delivered to you or whatever. So anyway, so I don't think that they have a car. So they've converted their garage, which is open to everybody else's garage, into a gym. So they put like the gym floor padding down, and they have like a rowing machine and like weights and a bench, and like whatever. That's fine if that's your thing. But like, I don't know. I just think it's so fucking weird, right? Like I would be like so embarrassed to be out there while people are like getting ready to go to work and like getting in their pulling their briefcase in their car and like you're just on your fucking rowing machine just.
Have you seen them out there working out?
Yes. So I was like getting my stuff.
Are they like fat and ugly and old?
No, they're like younger people. I mean, whatever,
me.
But like I was like walked by them and I was like, oh hey guys, I was like, I'm Josh. I live in apartment 3.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
Are these the people with the dog?
Let me see. Stop it.
Okay,
stop
sorry.
it. You're. It's like I'm building.
I cannot interrupt the storyteller.
Well, no, I'm building everyone up, and then you just busted my load everywhere.
Oh, sorry. They don't know. They don't know what's going on. Anyway, so you introduced yourself.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, I'm Josh. I'm living in apartment 3, and they were like, oh, hey, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, welcome to the complex. It's a great complex. Really quiet, really nice. They go, yep. And I was like, okay, great. So I just keep walking. So
wait, is this a woman and a man?
Yes, that's what I said. So I was
Do you think they're married or?
I think they are, but I think it's like also because I think the man is like, I think he's like European, like Russian or something. It's like I think it's like legitimate like 90 Day Fiance shit.
Oh, I love it.
I know. So then, so I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So like a week goes by, and then I wake up one morning, and this is probably first week of March, and I wake up and I'm like making breakfast. And I don't think it's a day that I work, but it's probably like 8:30. Yeah, probably like 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock at the latest. And there is a dog that I hear that is like a cross between like barking and like crying, whining. And I'm like, and it's like loud, like it's loud. Like I'm thinking, because like we have like this kind of like complex and like it's kind of all open. So everyone's like front door kind of faces like this like courtyard type thing. And I'm just like,
you're thinking it's going through the courtyard.
Oh, I'm thinking everybody can hear it. 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's because there's like a woman upstairs, because there's a handful of people that have dogs here. And I'm like, well, maybe it's the woman upstairs because I've seen her walk her dog and she's a little bit older. So I'm like, oh, maybe she's like fallen, and the dog is like trying to like signal. It's like a Lassie situation,
Get my owner. She's fallen and she can't get up.
Call 911. Call 911. Exactly. And so I end up like running some errands, and I don't really think about it. I'm just like, oh, whatever, So, because like I said, there are dogs here. Yeah. So the next day I wake up and it's like a work day and I'm getting ready for work and I hear it again, the barking, crying, whining dog. And I'm like, man, I'm like, what? What is this? And then it happens the next day. And then I'm like,
sounds like separation anxiety to me.
Right. So then I start like kind of really listening, and I'm like, put my ear up to the wall that I share with these neighbors, this 90 Day Fiance people. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's coming from their apartment, you know, and I didn't know up to this point that they had a dog.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I like walk outside or whatever, but I see like the dog in the window, and it's a pretty good sized dog. Like, not quite sure what kind of dog it is, but it's a good sized dog. And it's a small apartment, and I think they have a cat as well, which I'm just like, man, what are you guys doing? You know, like,
I know, that's weird.
So anyway,
I can't even imagine like having my 2 cats in your size apartment.
and my apartment's much bigger than, because the corner units here are bigger apartments than the middle units. So I'm kind of like, huh. So I kind of shoot like, so my, like the way that I go through things, like my brain works in a way where I'm like, okay, I'll try to make like a joke out of this first and kind of be like, ha, don't do this. So I shoot a text message to the property manager, who now is no longer here. We'll get to that in a moment. So his name's Bala, and I can now talk about him because he's not here anymore. So I'm like, hey, Bala, and again, try to make a joke. I'm like, is the whining dog a new addition to the complex? And he goes, oh, you must be talking about, you know, in number 2, in apartment 2.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I said, yeah. And then there was like no response, right? So then there's like a couple days, I don't hear it, right? Like, you know, I'll get up in the morning, I'm like out, you know, doing, you know, errands, running errands. So, you know, by the mid-afternoon or whatever, I don't hear, I'm like, oh, whatever. So a few days, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever, you know. Next week,
You're not hearing anything for a while.
Yeah, like maybe like through the weekend, right? But the other thing is that like I'm also sometimes some weekends I'm actually not here, right? Yeah. So that's the other thing is that between like, you know, the 2 days I'm at the salon, and then there's some days that I'm getting up and like running errands and stuff, and then Saturday, Sunday, Mondays, sometimes I'm not here. So I'm like, so yeah, so, you know, maybe like a weekend goes by, 5 days, whatever, and I kind of forget about it. I don't think about it. So then it starts again. And I'm like, man, holy shit. You know, and it's like, and it's loud. Like, it's fucking loud. So you hear it like, and it's different. It's usually daytime. It's usually either early morning or like early afternoon. And it goes on for like hours, like at least an hour.
Yeah, and you know what? If they're not home, they may not even know that that's going on.
So
somebody has to tell them. Although, if they've lived in apartments before with that same dog, then somebody's complained about it. Speaking as your mother, I would suggest that when you're speaking to the property management, you don't make a joke out of it. You say,
right,
hey,
okay,
what's up with the fucking dog?
So at the beginning of, what are we in, May? So I'm trying to think here. So I guess mid-April. Yeah, I guess mid-April. I don't know, maybe third week of it. So it's kind of gone on, right? And I'm kind of like, oh, okay, what, you know. And then there was like all this commotion happening with like the property manager, and I thought maybe he was getting his apartment. I thought maybe his girlfriend was moving in with him, but it turns out he just moved out. And it was like literally like the weirdest fucking thing. Like on a Monday he was here, and on like Friday morning he was gone, and that was it. And there was like a letter on everyone's door about the new property manager. So anyway, she comes in. Her name's Francesca. So she comes in, and the very first thing I do is I fire off an email, because she's like, oh, here, I'm, you know, it's like in a letter. It's like, this is how you get a hold of me. So I shoot off an email, and I was like, yo, I'm fucking Josh. I'm in number 3, you know, like I'm a good fucking tenant. A couple things, you know, welcome. First off, welcome to the complex. A couple things that I've just, you know, I brought up with the old manager that kind of were never handled. One of which was there was some parking situation going on in the back. But the second thing, I was just like, look, there's a fucking dog that barks and cries and shit for hours, you know? And like, I hear this all the fucking time. And, you know, so she responds, and she's just like, oh, wow, like, thank you so much. I'll fucking, you know, she
said, so thank you so much. I'll fucking get on it.
Yeah, I'll fucking get on it, you know? So
is that how everybody talks over there? The fuck between every other word?
It was an email. I'm just paraphrasing, you know?
Okay.
So, so then, you know, it happens again, like, you know, like a week. So essentially where we are now, let's just catch everyone up to speed. I've sent an email every Friday for the last 3 weeks. And because I'm hearing it multiple times during the week. And where we're at now with it is because she's talked to them, and I wrote her on Saturday, and then I wrote her again today because I got home. Excuse me. I got home this morning, and it was happening again for probably about 3 hours today. And some days, like, I'll turn my television up to like 60, and I'll just like pump. Like today was Friends. Like I'm just pumping Friends, and I'm sure I'm sure you can just like hear it through the whole complex. Like, so I just told her, I said, and I was just like, look, like this is insane, like this is nuts. And the fact of the matter is that this is going on almost every day for hours at a time. And
well, where is she that she's not hearing it? Because she's right on the other
so
side
she
of
says, she goes, because I don't think she lives here. I think she comes and goes. And so she said she goes, yeah, I've heard it as well. Like I share a wall. I've talked to them. I'm going to speak with them a little bit more firmly. And then, she was like, I appreciate you being so understanding about this. There's like a set of steps that like I have to go through,
right. Before I evict them.
Right. But like and it was funny because I called a friend of mine, who I'm talking about here in a moment, because just based on his answer. And I was like explaining it to him because we were on the phone and he could hear it. And he was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, it's insane. And he goes, well, you don't pay that much in rent. And I was like,
oh, stop it.
I was like, excuse me? And he goes,
I
well,
know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He goes, well, it's not the nicest building. And I was like, it doesn't fucking make a difference. This could be a fucking $500 apartment. You have a right to fucking have quiet. You have a right to not, whether it's a baby that cries for fucking 17 hours throughout the day, which, I mean, thank the Lord that, I think there's one woman who has an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old here, which that's weird, but whatever. And, but like, I mean, that's like that's a right. Like you should be able to, I don't care if if you have an apartment, like you should be able to not have a dog that barks every single day for multiple hours. And I feel bad for the fucking dog. Like, let me just put this, I'm not upset at the dog in any way, shape or form, right? Like it's the people. Like,
well, are the people not there? I'm assuming that they're not there when the dog
So I'm sorry, I should have said that. So what it is that it's not that the dog has to go out. It's not that the dog's hungry. It's separation anxiety, right? It's that they leave, and I mean, within minutes, the dog is.
Are they just in the garage working out? Or
I don't know. I don't think so.
Or they
I don't think
go
so.
to a job.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Again, they're strange people. I mean, I had a whole thing where like, because their garage is like one over, right? So they're not like right next to me, and it's one more over. So I was like, I'd gone into my garage, I opened it because they're not automatic. So I like opened it, I like backed my car out, and then I get out to close the garage. And as that's all happening, the woman comes out, she opens her garage and she like wheels her little bike out, and she like puts her bike like where I can't, like it's only so wide back there, right? So like once I've backed out of my garage, I have to kind of make like a wide turn to like get back to like to be able to go out of the garage area. And she like puts her bike like 10 feet in front of my car to where like I can't do anything. And she's like closes her garage, adjusts the lock, checks her backpack, puts her helmet on.
Ew, I don't like her.
Checks the gears on the bike. And I'm sitting in my car. I'm sitting in my car and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. This is unbelievable.
You should have rolled your window down and said, could you move your bike a little out of the way, please, so I can get out of here?
But see, that's the thing. Is
without
like,
hitting you?
I try so hard to be like, I've thought about like leaving fucking notes on their door that are like, hey, your dog's been barking for the last 5.5 hours, right? Like you need to make him stop, right? Today, like, so, I've exchanged all these emails with the property manager. And at this point, I'm just like, well, I wanted to let her deal with it. But like, I looked it up online. You can't do that. You can't have, there's barking, there's dog barking laws. You could call
animal control.
So that's what it is. So there's
Here's
dog
the thing,
barking
though,
laws.
Is that you should not get involved with these people because you could, they have on ID, fear thy neighbor. Fear thy neighbor. Fear thy roommate. These stories about people that, have issues with their neighbors or issues with their roommates, and then somebody freaks out and somebody gets killed. I mean, you want the property manager to handle it, but you need to tell the property manager that you are aware that animal control can be called, and they can be called. They'll confiscate that dog.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's law. They'll fine the tenants. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think what it is you cannot have a dog that barks. Check this out. You cannot have a dog that barks for 10 minutes, for straight 10 minutes per hour, or in excess of 30 minutes every 3 hours.
Oh, well, you got that beat.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you, I actually called. There was one weekend I was home, and I think it was a Saturday, and I kept hearing this dog barking over and over and over again. And I thought, a couple doors up, there was people that had that really pretty dog, and I thought, well, maybe it's their dog, but it just kept barking and barking and barking. And finally, I went and followed the bark, and it was actually coming from this back in the day when people used to park in the parking lot of the dance studio,
yeah,
across the street. Yeah. And so the dog was in somebody's car, locked in a car.
For how long?
And for all fucking day.
Wow.
And I called the police, and they sent animal control out. And amazingly, when animal control got there, the person whose dog it was finally came to their car. But it was like, it was the same. It wasn't so much that it was annoying to me, but it was like this dog is in stress.
Well, that's the thing, is that I think for me it's this double whammy of like, I feel bad for the dog, but it's also very fucking annoying. And I don't want to hear that like, oh, we don't know. Like, this is not just a brand new thing. Like, this just didn't just develop,
Well, that's why I said wherever they lived previously, I'm sure they had the same problem.
Exactly.
If they lived in an apartment.
Or maybe they got the dog right over the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? Like, maybe this is like, oh, we're fucking moving. Oh, this place, let's stop. Whatever. But at this point, they know, right? And I feel like,
but you see, okay, and listen, I don't think that this should be going on, but put yourself in their place. You have a dog, you love your dog, but your dog has separation anxiety. You leave for work, the dog cries for hours on end. You don't even know because you're not there.
But now they know.
But somebody tells you.
Right.
Yeah, but somebody tells you. So what do you do?
Well,
quit your job and stay home with your dog?
No. Okay, so that's the thing, right? And so that's where I'm at now, right? Is that like, I have to take that into account of like, okay, so what if this was me? Okay, first off, I would be so fucking embarrassed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would just be like, oh my God, I am so fucking sorry. Like, oh my God, I will figure this out. Right.
I will head out earplugs to everybody who lives in the building.
So from there, it's like, yeah, what needs to happen? I don't know. This isn't, like, either you have to figure out a way to take the dog. You have to fucking take the dog to, look, I have friends of mine that I work with that they drop their dog off at fucking dog daycare when they go to work. Because they're fucking gone for like 8 to 10 hours a day. They drop their dog off at doggy daycare in the morning. They fucking feed the dog. They take the dog for walks. The dog hangs out with other dogs. That's a thing, And great, look, that costs money, right? But that's a fucking solution.
Hey, you're not paying for a car, so why the fuck not?
Exactly.
How do you get the dog?
But that's the thing, is that like that becomes the new thing, right? Like, you have to figure that out, right? Like, it's like anything else in life, right? Like, if I'm thirsty and I have no water in my apartment, if I don't have any fucking bottled water, I have to figure out where to get the bottled water from. Like, it's not going to just show up. It's not going to, I can't just I can't just open my mouth to the ceiling.
If you call your mommy, it'll show up.
There you go.
Come on.
There you go.
I'll take care of you.
Oof.
Son.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Oof. So yeah,
I just mean I'll take care of your needs, like food and water.
My needs.
I'm not going to take care of your dog.
Uh-huh. So,
but you had what's her name? I watched your dog. You had that one girlfriend who had the dog.
Yeah, and look, it's very possible because so
and you left. Well, you guys went to New Mexico or whatever and left the dog with me, and I'm going to tell you that dog was the same way. She, whoever, whatever it was did not like the separation anxiety. But normally, Yeah, it's a little dog. I mean, little dogs are kind of like that. They want to be with their owners. Bigger dogs usually are a little bit more independent,
I don't even
I
care. I
think.
don't even care what size the dog is. You just, as the owner, you have to figure it out, right? Like,
But
so if it becomes something to where, in that case, right, if you're like, hey, I'm not watching the dog game because the fucking 3 days you were gone, it fucking cried the whole time. Okay. So then that means that either, I have to take the dog with me if I was traveling, or I have to fucking, board the dog for 3 days or whatever, which the dog's still going to cry. It
yeah,
sucks. It's a shitty situation, but that is your job as the owner. That is the responsibility that you've taken on when you've gotten the animal
yeah,
to figure out. You have to figure that out. It can't just be like, oh, tough cookies,
yeah. Well, on top of that, like you said, there are regulations, city regulations, and maybe that's and I would imagine that if they don't take care of the problem, that at some point there's going to be an eviction. I'm sure she's really happy she came on board.
No, I mean, I feel bad for this woman because Francesca, she came on board. Francesca, she came on board and she inherited. The old property manager was Balla, was super laid back. He didn't do anything, and I'm assuming that's I don't know. I don't know if he got fired or what happened, but he didn't do much, right? So.
Yeah.
I would imagine that, 'cause, I mean, there was a trash issue. There was, I know, some fucking thing, so she's dealing with this whole, when I say trash issue, I mean the dumpster would overflow basically every week. It was disgusting. And
Don't they pick it up twice a week there?
they do now. They were only picking it up once a week. So when she
They
came on
probably
board,
did. Yeah.
and she was just like, what the fuck? What is going, so she's out there like trying to like smush boxes down in the dumpster. There was something going on with like the recycle bins where like those were overflowing. I mean, it was disgusting, right? There was people putting like fucking televisions and chairs out there, and she's like, no, you can't fucking do this. Like I heard her like yell at some guy like, hey, I saw you put the fucking nightstand out there. Like, you can't do that. You have to call fucking Athens, and you got to have them come pick it up. Like, be fucking,
Well,
and that's the whole thing, is that be fucking
you
responsible for your
you-
own shit.
Yeah, but you do, but you call them and you put it out by the dumpsters. Because remember,
No, but you can't put it out by these dumpsters because these dumpsters are they're sitting next to, they're on a wall that you have to drive through to get out of the complex. So you can't just put like the way, like the way the wall is like recessed is that it's only big enough basically for the dumpster. So you can't just start putting like nightstands out there because then you can't drive through the alleyway. So you have to put it out front.
At the last place though, when you left, didn't you have stuff that you?
Yeah, I put a desk and like a mattress, I think, at some point. But like I called Athens and and they were like, yeah, we pick up whatever day, like Wednesday. And I was like, okay, well, it's going to be out there on Monday, and it's unsightly, but like you can't. There's nothing else you can do about it, right? This is what it is. Like I'm like, I told the apartment manager, I'm like, yo, I got a fucking desk. It's heavier than shit. Like I had the movers put it out. This is the day I'm moving. They're not going to be able to pick it up till Wednesday. And he was just like, okay, fine. And I'm like, great, fucking great. But like that's all I can do,
Yeah.
So my whole thing in this is that like it's on you to deal with your fucking dog, right? With your barking dog, right? And it's getting to the point where like I'm trying to be patient with this property manager, but it's going to get to the point where I'm going to be like, hey, look, I'm going to have to move, so I need you to let me out of my lease because it's not what I signed up for. A, B, if this does not get handled more like quicker.
Yeah.
That's not
more like quicker. Yeah.
More what is it like?
I don't know.
Like
Whatever.
Prudent, more prudent. Like when you show up early. Like
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'll think of it later.
Yeah, thank you. That if it doesn't get handled quicker, like I'm gonna fucking call animal services because this goes on for hours every single day.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, it's getting to the point where I don't want to be in my apartment during the day because I have to listen to it. And that sucks, So, I need you to let me out of my lease because I got to go find another fucking apartment to live in, So, yeah. So I don't know.
You don't want to have to do that. Yeah. I wonder if anybody else has complained about it though.
Well, see, I got to imagine like, here's the thing, right? If you share a wall with them, it's going to be way fucking louder, right?
Yeah.
If you are one wall removed, maybe you don't hear it that much, right? If you're across the complex, you probably don't hear that. You probably hear it or whatever. And I even told the lady, I was like, look, I can deal with the fact that this is an old ass apartment complex, right? This is a complex probably from the 60s. And I understand that there's like thin walls. And this goes back to what my friend was saying, right? Where he's like, oh, you don't pay that much. And it's like, dude, I pay $2,000 a month in rent. Because what? So I should have to pay $4 to not have to hear the barking dog, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Right?
You really tell the property manager that you're willing to pay a little bit more rent as long as they get rid of the dog.
I even told her. I said, look, I get it. I said, I know that this is an old building. I know that this is not the most expensive buildings in the South Bay, right? I know that the walls are thin, and sometimes you hear people's TVs, and sometimes you hear people talking, and sometimes you hear the closet doors. What's weird is that everyone in this complex that lives anywhere around my apartment, their closet doors and their shower doors, they have to like slam them. Like I like no one can just like shut their door in like a civilized manner. Like they're just fucking. So it sounds like someone's dropping refrigerators, a couple times a day. Good, whatever. I'll deal with that. That's fine. So I started slamming my doors, but you just. But
I'll show them.
But I'm just like, but this is the thing. This is the thing. What I was gonna say, but this goes too far. Right? Even if it was like, hey, so-and-so has a dog and the dog barks a couple times a day. Okay. Fine. Or hey, this dog cries once a month for fucking an hour. Okay. That's a bummer. But like, you can't have this happen every single fucking day.
Well, and you would think that the owners of the dog would, I mean, it just blows my mind that people don't consider other people at all. Like, like you were talking about. I mean, like a couple weeks ago, I went to the grocery store and I'm driving, there's like one lane this way, one lane the other way. And I'm driving and this car just pulls over to the side of the street, blocking my lane. And the guy gets out and he starts to go to the ATM machine. I'm like, what the fuck, man? There's a fucking parking lot. Go fucking park your car.
Yep.
You don't just put on your blinkers. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? It's like so disrespectful for anybody who's around you. And I just don't get why people don't even think about, like the gal with the bike. I'm going to put my bike right here and I'm going to check all my shit before I go.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And I was just having this conversation about. And and I don't know what other apartment complexes are like or living situations. I would love for people to write in mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com and let us know. But like the people here are so fucking inconsiderate. It is crazy, like insane. And I guess it could be worse, right? I guess it could always be worse. Like you could have a tenant, who lives next to you who's having fucking parties every single night until 2 a.m. But that's a fucking easy fix. You're just like, yo. These people are fucking wasted in their house until 2 o'clock in the morning, shut them down. But like the laundry, like we have a laundry room that has 2 washers, 2 dryers. And the washing machines, look, you've never been here. You've never had to do laundry. Let's just take a guess. How long do you think the washing machines wash for?
I'm going to say 40 minutes.
30 minutes. How long do you think the dryers dry for?
40 minutes.
45 minutes. So you've never even been here and you are off by 15 total minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
It is
not a whole day though.
No. It is like $2 to do a load of laundry to do the wash, and it's like $1.50 to do the dry, which is insane because it's $3.50. So, and sometimes you have to run through the dryer twice.
I was going to say, you probably don't even get your stuff dry after one.
Sometimes you don't. So, which is crazy. Anyway, but like there are people like the other day, I had to pull this, and I hate doing it. I fucking hate it, but now I'm just like, I don't fucking care. I had to pull this woman's stuff out of the dryer because it was in there for like 4 hours. And I'm just like, what's your fucking problem? It's 45 minutes, middle of the day. It's not even like, at 8 o'clock at night and you fell asleep and because you work so hard. It's the middle of the fucking day. And like, I make it a point for myself that I know I'm putting laundry in. I'm fucking here. I'm not going and running errands. I'm not like, I'm going to go to Peter's house and hang out for a few hours. Fuck it. Someone else will deal. Like, this is my laundry and I got to deal with it. And whatever. It is beyond me to just leave your shit in the washer or the dryer for hours on end.
What's happened to people?
And I'm just like, man, I'm like, you guys think that
there's no consideration.
No, like you guys think no one else has to do fucking laundry? And the thing that gets me even more pissed is that there's times when I'm like they'll come out to move their stuff from the wash to the dryer and the other washing machine is going, right? So they know that someone else has to use the dryer.
Yeah.
And they still just fucking leave it. And one of the dryers hasn't been working lately because they've rearranged, because now it's, they rearranged the coin thing. So I don't know, whatever. But like, I'm just like, you still don't fucking do it,
What's wrong with people, Josh? I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't understand. I try to be, again, so fucking considerate about everything, and I don't.
I mean, have we failed in some way as a society to teach our children to respect and have consideration for other people? I don't know.
Well, I think we got to a point where people are just like, they, and we've talked about it on this podcast before, where people just kind of stopped caring about other people. They just care about themselves, which is like, I can't do it. Like, I am way too apathetic.
Yes. Yeah. And the apathetic means you don't give a shit.
Oh,
empathetic means you empathize with.
Yeah, I'm way too empathetic to, like, and again, like the dog thing, or like leaving my lawn. Like, I would just be so fucking embarrassed. I would just be like, oh my God, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, oh my, like. Yeah. So look, I don't know, I don't know what to do at that point, right? But we're moving to this thing where I'm just like, I have, there's potential that at some point, I'll end up moving anyways, but this could just speed the whole process up, because I'm just like, I can't listen to this. I was on a phone call with someone the other day, and they're like, hey, can you take your dog out? And I'm like, oh, it's not my dog, it's the neighbor's. Like, it's so fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I told the property manager.
Have you recorded it? Have you recorded it?
Yeah, I sent the property manager a video of it. Like, it's just like the phone, like sitting at my front door. Yeah. And I was just like, look, this is this. And she's like, I know, I hear it too, because I'm in the office, next door work. And I'm just like, so anyway, she said she was going to have a firm talk with them today. And I get it. I don't think it's her fault, because like her hands are kind of tied as far as, I'm sure there's the steps that you have to go through, right? But
yeah, well, the next step will be, if the dog, if I get more complaints, then I'm going to have to call animal control. And if they issue you a citation, then so be it. And if you get a citation every day, and or, you got 30-day notice, you got to get the fuck out of here. I mean, it's not a great situation for them to be in. But again, I just feel like, how can you move to a 1-bedroom small apartment with a fairly good sized dog and a cat? I just don't.
Well, the thing is, again, like,
and then be gone all day with this dog that, that's got.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they got the dog right before they moved in here. Okay, we'll say that they've never had to deal with this before. But the minute that it gets brought to your attention by the fucking property manager, right? That's when it has to be like, okay, new plan. What are we doing? Not, hey, let's just kind of keep doing what we're doing.
We'll ignore it. We don't hear it, so we're good.
Exactly. I heard it all last week Tuesday in the morning when I woke up. It actually woke me up. I was in bed and I woke up and it was happening. Wednesday, Thursday, I was at work, so I didn't hear it. Right, so not to say it didn't happen. I would actually bet money that it was happening. Friday early afternoon, heard it all day. Saturday, I heard it all morning, which I sent the email.
Well, you should make a log. You should log this, put this on your phone, and the time periods that you're hearing it. So
that's not a bad idea. Came home today, came directly to your house, right? Washed the car, talked to you for a second, came back, heard it for probably 3 hours today. And I've got to run some errands tomorrow morning, but I guarantee that it's going to be happening at some point tomorrow, and I'm going to send another email to the property manager and just be like, fuck, it's still happening. Like, here, we're another day. Like, what am I supposed to do? So anyway, we're already past our time. So we're not going to get to what we were going to talk about. So we'll have to save that for next week, but we can tell everyone. You want to tease them?
Say maybe people want to actually check it out for
We'll do a little tease.
Themselves.
Yeah, we'll do a little tease.
There you go.
I don't really have anything else to say. Before we move on, that's kind of my
story.
story.
Okay, but I do want to ask a question. I have not been watching the news lately, and I'm wondering, did the Chinese space rocket fall, and where did it fall?
I think they were saying it was supposed to fall somewhere in North Redondo.
Well, no, I'm just curious because I know that, it's a spaceship gone haywire, And I think China came out and said, "Don't worry, we're pretty sure it's not going to hit anybody or anything." And I just remember when China told us like a year ago that we're darn sure that this coronavirus thing isn't spread from person to person. So I'm just wondering, did it fall to Earth? And if so, do you know where? Do you know? I don't know. I
No,
thought it
I have
was
no
supposed to
idea.
be this weekend.
I have no
I thought
idea.
it was supposed to be this weekend that it was supposed to fall. So I don't know. I'll have to look. Obviously, it didn't hurt anybody. Otherwise, it would have been all over the news, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. But yeah, I read about it. I did not read about it actually landing, so I'm not quite sure yet.
And what about this gas thing? Did you? I don't really know much about that either. That somebody hacked into the gas. Did you hear about that?
No, I was just trying to move us to finish the podcast, but
Yeah, I thought maybe you knew something more about it. I've just heard very little. Something about sounds like maybe a foreign country hacked into like our gasoline supply on the East Coast. It affected like 27 states or something, and I don't know.
Did you hear about the ham?
No, what about the ham? I love ham.
The ham supply, I guess, was hacked into, and they were mutating ham.
Really? Mutating it.
Into like ham monsters, but only one M, not the double M.
So it's really a ha monster.
Well, it's either a ha monster or a ham monster.
Ham
monster. Hello, I'm Mr. Onster. What's your first name? Ham.
My name is Ham.
Okay, so look, so next week, if we don't get too tied up with whatever, there was some, and you guys should all go watch it. There was something that I stumbled upon on HBO Max called Class Action Park. And it was a theme park, a water park / like motor park, I guess.
Yeah, and had also, yeah.
And all sorts of shit. And it was in New Jersey. And it was essentially the most like dangerous theme park that has ever existed. And not in like, I mean, not like people were dying. People were getting hurt and dying. I was going to say not like scary, but that's kind of scary.
People were getting hurt. I mean, it's just amazing the way they put stuff together.
Yeah, insane. Like, but we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll talk about it next week. But what I thought would be interesting, because I'd had some things that, you know, I remember growing up and us going to like Disneyland and Knott's and whatnot. And I was just like, oh, this will be like for like a fun episode. And you know, and I feel like everyone can kind of get a kick out of it because everyone's been to amusement parks at some. No one's like, oh, I've never been to an amusement park. Like everyone's kind of been to an amusement park at some point. So, you know, I'm sure that everyone has had that thought where like you look up at the ride you're about to go on and I'm like, huh. I wonder if they really tightened all those 4,000 screws this morning, you know, that kind of shit. Yeah. So, and I think about that all the time because I'm your son, obviously. So, but I thought, so
yeah, I taught you well how to worry.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, let me watch this Class Action Park. It was called Class Action Park. It's on HBO Max. Let me watch this documentary about this theme park. And since then I've actually talked to two people who live in the South Bay who are like, both were like, dude, I fucking went there as a kid. It was fucking insane. So we'll get to all that next week. Yeah. But
if you guys want to check it out between now and next week, check it out, and you know, then you'll kind of understand a little bit more about what we're talking about.
Yeah, fair warning.
I did my homework last night, so
exactly. So fair warning. That's what we're going to talk about next week. But if you have, or if you want to watch it, or if you have like a theme park story, of something happening to you as a kid or something happened to your kids, cousin Brian, and you want to, cousin Brian probably has some good Disneyland stories. My cousin Brian, if you're fucking shoot me a little message. We got to talk Disneyland.
Why, you think Disneyland's really unsafe? You think they have a lot of shit going on there?
I don't want to get into it now.
All right,
we'll get into it next week. But my cousin Brian, you get a hold of me. We need to talk Disney. And so yeah, so if you guys have stories or whatever, shoot us an email, mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com, and let us know, because that's what we're talking about next week is Class Action Park and the dangers and the theme park and dangerous theme. The
theme park theme.
The theme park accidents. Accidents at the theme park. That's kind of good. Accidents at the theme park. Anyway, something like
scary,
that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be next week. If you guys need to get a hold of us, you guys can check us out on Instagram at mymomsandypodcast. Of course, you can always email, I just said, but mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com. And
in the meantime, Josh is going to deal with his property management people and his new barking dog neighbor. And I am going to contact my victim's advocate.
And we're gonna have so much stuff to catch everyone up with next week. Although we need to do it like we need to do like a 5 to 10 minute catch up next week.
Yeah.
And then we need to go right into, because we can't do another episode about the same stuff.
No, it's pretty boring.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about it because I was like, oh, this is this apartment living. I'll let everyone kind of let bygones be bygones, but it's really fucking annoying now. So,
and that's why I don't want to live in an apartment. When you talk about moving and not like moving to a house, I always think, with apartments, like what's his name lived in a condo and it was like an apartment building. All they did was took the apartments and converted them to condos. I don't know what they fucking had to do that, but so they were just like apartments. And I'm going to tell you, you get, one shitty neighbor and it can make your life just fucking miserable.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's something that I think, for my next move, wherever it is, there are apartment buildings that are, newer buildings that have been built probably 2010, 2013, 2015, that they actually, believe it or not, put in some sort of, low noise technology in the floors and the walls. So you actually don't hear a lot. But all these old fucking buildings built in like 50s, 60s, 70s that they've, put a fresh coat of paint on and maybe some fucking fake wood floors. This shit is it's just stupid ridiculous. If you have popcorn ceilings, you can hear your fucking neighbors. We'll say it at that, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. Yeah, apartment living sucks. But there are nicer, you can find nice apartments out there that you don't hear anything.
Yeah, but you're going to be paying a lot more too.
Yeah, it's very true. But again, this okay. You sound like my friend who was like, well, if you lived in a nicer building, you wouldn't have to deal with it,
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think you should have to. I think that if you live in a building like you live in, that, it's first of all, it's not cheap, number one. And number two, you expect that there's going to be some noise from your neighbors, but not a whining, barking dog all day.
Right. That's my thing.
That's not acceptable.
Right. I have no problem with neighbors making noise.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just say that.
As long as they're not like always partying or,
right. I'm so fucking mellow.
Or beating their wife or whatever.
The guy upstairs, some nights starting at 8:00, I think he likes to rearrange his living room furniture and drag chairs across the room. I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally okay. I'm just like, dude, you're doing it again. Get it, buddy. But when it's hours on hours on hours of a barking, crying dog, and again, I'm not mad at the dog. I feel bad for the dog. It's a shitty situation for the dog. But as the owner, it comes on you. You've got to take care of this. This is your fucking responsibility. This is what you signed up for, Yeah. So it's like you run out of cat food, you got to go buy cat food. It doesn't just show up unless you order from Chewy.com.
Exactly.
And if you order from Chewy.com, enter promo code MyMomSandy, and you're going to get 20% off your next order. Let's just see if it works. Let's just see.
And don't expect that the Ring doorbell will pick up the delivery because they probably won't. Those Chewy people know exactly how to maneuver underneath the doorbell so it doesn't activate.
I was looking for they actually sell hair beauty supply companies and stuff. Like they sell clipper like on clippers, like clippers. You can replace the blade so that after so long it kind of dulls and you want it to be sharp so it cuts the hair. It goes kind of glides through the hair. So on one of I have several pairs of clippers at work. So I was like, I want to get a new pair of clippers. Or I'm sorry, not a new pair, but a new blade for the clippers. So I was online. I'm like, replacement blade for wall, blah, 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 whatever. And it brings up like all these, like the first like search results bring up all these blades. And I'm like, wow, and it's like competition blade 30. And I'm like, ooh, competition blade 30. That's fucking great. What is that? And it's like competition blade 10. And I'm like, oh my God, is 10 better than 30 because it's like lower?
30,
or is 30, And I'm like, I don't know. And then like I scroll down and they're all like, they're all being sold at Chewy.com. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. I'm like, why is
like dog clippers?
Why is Chewy.com selling these razors? I'm like, that's where mom gets the cat food from. I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, well, maybe.
Listen, if you want to order, I'm on auto ship. Well, we can add your shipment to the order, and you won't have to pay shipping.
I didn't even get it at first. I was like, well, maybe Chewy's like moonlighting with like beauty supply products or something. I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, maybe this is like a different Chewy, right? Maybe this is like KCHEWY, right? Kachewy, So I click it. And I'm like, Oh, I'm like, yeah, look, I guess it's
cat
okay,
food.
competition 30. No, because it just takes me straight to the page, right? So it's like, oh, competition replacement blade 30.
Oh, they're probably talking about like a dog that's in
Yes.
competition.
So I scroll down and it's like, get your horse or dog ready with competition 30 replacement blade for the wall clippers. I'm like, well, this isn't what I need. It just is, what the fuck is this?
I don't want animal clippers. I want people clippers.
Jesus.
That's weird. I wonder if they are interchangeable, though. They could be.
No, usually like pet, I mean, I don't think so. I think like actual pet, the clippers, the part you hold is usually a lot bigger. Cause I've seen ones where they do the fucking like the sheep and it's like a big fucking, it's like you get like a weed whacker in your hand, you know?
Yeah. But for a dog.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
For a dog.
It could be. I also want to give a quick shout out to my friend Danny who went to beauty school with her. I think she might have done your hair once in beauty school, but
she did. Yeah,
she's been listening, and she sent me a nice text message the other day. She said, "You and your mom are great." So she's been listening to the podcast and was gave her a quick shout out. We always appreciate any kind of support, and it's rad that you guys can come in each week and listen with us talk about fucking barking dogs and going to Arizona for subpoenas. Subpoenas?
Really?
Penis?
Subpoenas. For a subpoenas.
This episode's going to be called the subpoenas and the barking dog incident.
Perfect. It'll be great.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got. You guys know how to get a hold of us, and we have a new episode that goes up every Tuesday. Apple does this thing now where it takes a second once I upload it, so the episode should always be up by Tuesday, unless, of course, we don't do an episode that week, in which case you just listen to the older episode. And if you guys aren't listening on 1.5 times, you're fucking missing out. It's way better.
And I could probably listen to all of them on my drive to Arizona.
There you go. Perfect. 1 through 71.
And it'll be like, whoa, hey, I'm halfway through and now I got to drive back home. I can't even imagine driving out there in the heat of the fucking summer. Anyway, okay. All right, Josh. I hope you get the dog thing straightened out.
And I hope you get the subpoenas straightened out.
Subpoenas. I will. I'm going to work on the subpoenas. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday.
Good. You got time.
Need time to sit on it. So, all right. Very good.